All right, Metal Summoners, we are so happy to have you again. It is Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for always starting your weekend right in the middle of the week, because that's the way that we like to look at it. That's like the way that we like to do it. That's the way we like to party. You are back again with your Island of Misfit Toys with Angel Alamo, Psycho Steve. Bobby will be joining us shortly, and I, of course, am here as well. We'll be bringing in our guests of the time very, very shortly. We have just a couple of things to go on and just cover very briefly something involving the Metal Summit and something involving Steve. So we're just going to get that covered real quick. First and foremost, I wanted to extend a thank you to Maryland Death Fest for having me out this weekend. I had a great time. Thank you to Ram's Head for, in particular, having me out. But the entire festival was a lot of fun. The bands were fantastic. I had a great time hanging out with my buddy Lisa, as well as Tina and a bunch of other friends. So MDF, thank you guys so much. I know you guys are going on a current hiatus, but we definitely hope to have you guys back in the upcoming years. The next event that we wanted to cover real quick is fans. We wanted to remind you guys that coming up very shortly is Masquerade in Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena. And we are really looking forward to being there. Myself and Psycho Steve will be the MCs and the hosts of that event, but Angel and Bobby will be there as well. We've got Michael Grant from the Assassins headlining Thursday night, Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses headlining on Friday night, and the combination of Autograph and Killer Dwarves bringing us home on Saturday night. So thank you guys very much. Keep in mind that's coming up very, very shortly. So pick up your tickets through 2300arena.com. You can also go through Bradley and BLERocks.com for any questions that you need to know about how to purchase your tickets. Brad has recently put up videos to kind of walk you through it. Steve, let's kick it down to you, brother, about what you're involved in coming up.
So June 26th at Bar Anticipation, or otherwise known as Bar A in Belmar, New Jersey. Okay, because we have to keep our Jersey roots. We, as in the Rock and Recovery Foundation, a great foundation that started about 6-7 years ago, and the Metal Summit are collaborating and doing a birthday bash for me and calling it, Oh Lordy, Psycho Steve's turning 40 again. We got 9 bands on June 26th, all ages show. Tickets start at $25 in advance, $35 at the door. All the money is going to the charity. All I ask, because people are asking me what I want for your birthday, is for you to show up and say hi. So we got great bands that have been on our show, such as Whiskey Grin. Soon we're going to have Monte Carlo, which is also going to be playing at Masquerade. We've had Jack Frost from Frostbite, or the Frostbite Coalition. And then, of course, he put a band together, and I got a couple of my friends together, and they're calling it the Psycho Steve All-Stars. We also have, let me see, who else do we have playing?
Our good man, Ronnie.
Yeah, I was just about to say Ronnie Onkins of Kicks fame, his Blues Vultures, and the 4 of us will be there. And there's going to be some 50-50s. There's going to be some raffles, and it's going to be a really rad time. And my youngest little monster, Charlie,
we got
is watching.
A Bob D signing.
Bob D and Petro. Let me see who else. We got a really great band called Asbury. Asbury Steven and Asbury Jax. They do really cool AC/DC Bon Scott covers, and a ton of other bands, and a ton of other people are going to show up, and it's just going to be a very cool time. And then my youngest little monster is back, and he wanted me to say hi to all of you. So my youngest son is watching, so he says hi. So
What's up,
Charlie,
little
say hi.
dude? That's
There you go.
awesome. So, fans, live music is back. Definitely go out there and support. We got Masquerade coming up, and we've got the Rock and Recovery event coming up as well. So definitely go out and enjoy yourselves. You know, take all the necessary precautions that you guys feel you need to. We're all about that. We support that fully. But we definitely want to see people out and about because we've missed music, and we're super, super happy to have it back. On that note, let's get down to talking a little bit of music. Let's bring in our guests. Anybody who is familiar with our show in the long run will recognize these faces. They have been on with us before. They were doing some separate projects at the time, and we were having some separate conversation. But they have got something new that they want to discuss and talk about for the next little while. So we're going to allow them to do that. So we want to take the opportunity to welcome back Mark Hall and Lizzy Borden. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Guys?
Absolutely. It's so great to have you guys back. So we're here to discuss your newest project, which is called Ghost in Your Heart. And so let's kind of start right into it with how you guys put it together. So as anybody who may be familiar with you or might have seen the previous episode knows, you both have backgrounds when it comes to entertainment. Mark, you've been a musician your whole life with various musical projects. And Lizzy, you have a pretty extensive combination of entertainment, whether it be modeling or acting or athletics. But talk a little bit about, in particular, about the formation of Ghost in Your Heart and how you guys wanted to set up this project.
Okay. I kind of started around the time doing the Terror Tunes movie, which was April of last year, 2021. And so I had been writing and recording a song for the movie, and I thought, hey, maybe it'll be cool. Let's have you do something on it. She's always like, we've both obviously been into music. It's half our company name, Rock and Horror. And, with her role in the movie and everything, I said, come on, I don't want to give, too much away in the song. It doesn't really matter though. Do some stuff at the end, do like these, like creepy little sound effects and laughs and this and that. And, so she did that, and it sounded great. And I said, it'd be really cool right here. Let me have you do like a harmony on, I forgot which part of the song it was. I think it was like I think on the chorus. I think maybe on the bridge too. And she's like had a really good ear. Like we've always like discussed music and kind of just being around the house, like have music on, and she'll sing a little bit and. And I was like, hey, like, you have a really good ear. Let's try this. So I brought her into the vocal booth. I gave her the note. I said, just do this. These are the words. Pretty simple line. And she nailed it in 5 minutes. And I was like, all right, cool. That's perfect. And from there, it kind of just evolved into, as I was getting back into, doing gigs and more live music with everything opening back up, she had expressed an interest in wanting to sing more and go in that route. So we kind of just started working together on that. And, quickly we picked it up and, here we are now. So that's kind of, I guess, is there anything else that you want to throw in there? Because my memory is terrible.
I think it just started like that. I just remember when we were recording your song Comparison, I was very intrigued with the whole music process and the whole recording process. It's kind of addicting, and you're in there and you feel something so different. You feel alive. There is a magic part, and as Jay knows, I'm into magic, and I just felt so much love. And when he told me I think we could do something together, I always write on my phone. I always have journals, and I gave him some things that I wrote, and he said, I can make this into a song. And I was like, really? And it kind of just went from there. And I got excited, and of course, the first thing I'm gonna say is like, "What's our name gonna be?" You know, like we have to have a name. And Mark's like, "When we figure it out, it will make sense. Like, don't push it; it'll come to you." And then I think just one night we just both kind of looked at each other and was like, "Ghost in Your Heart." And then, you know, we just started recording and writing, and he just takes all my like writings and we kind of do it differently. Like I just kind of write and lyrics, I guess, and he puts them into these beautiful songs that I never thought, you know, would happen. Like this never would have happened if he didn't have a faith in me. You know, there's a few times during this I felt like giving up because it is a lot. You know, I think the hardest thing for me was being comfortable, because once you start doing it, it's a very vulnerable feeling of singing. You know, there's something coming out of you that's so different. It's not like a movie. It's not like modeling. It's not like everyday life. Like something comes out of you, and it's like very personal. And you know, embarrassed at first, shy, and he took me out of my shell, which thankful for him. I could never have done this without him. I would never be here right now talking to you about Ghost in Your Heart if it wasn't for him.
I think like you know, could go along with that too, just in terms of how it came about. We both kind of just, you know, in the evenings we'll put on music, we'll relax. You know, we'll either put on a record or just throw on whatever on Spotify or whatever it may be, and just listen to the stuff together that we both really enjoy. And she'll show me stuff and I'll show her stuff. So this kind of became a collective effort of like both our influences, which are, you know, really a wide spectrum of influences. And we wanted to do something that like didn't have any boundaries, where we could do whatever we want, but at the same time, we kind of knew exactly what we wanted it to be as a package. And I think we're achieving that. You know what I mean?
I do. Like if you listen to any of our songs, like each 3 songs that we have out, we're the Bryce coming out. We'll get to that in a minute. We just want everything to be different. We didn't want rules. We didn't want to, you know, we are so heavily influenced. Like I'm heavily influenced by Stevie Nicks, but I'm obsessed with Depeche Mode and Typo Negative and Marilyn Manson and you know, I figure I like that electronic, the goth, but having the rock and roll. And you know, he has beautiful you know, guitar solos, and I still wanted to keep that, and I didn't want it to just be, you know, he's done his music where it was like more rock and roll. You had like goth and stuff, but like this,
a mixture, a little bit of everything. I mean, that's the thing, really. I don't think anything ever has to be a certain genre. Or I'm sorry, not a certain genre, but just like fit a certain mold all the time. You know, you can have influences of this and this and this, but as long as it makes sense put together, then you know, it's like just go for it. Whatever, you know, whatever comes out is what comes out.
Absolutely, 100%. No, I think that's absolutely fantastic for sure. It's a very, very cool way to get the band together, just kind of based off experiences, and then just also based off like the trust that you guys have in each other. Like, hey, I'm working on this thing. I think getting you involved would be very, very cool. Let's see how things go. But then also having that support system, Lizzy, with somebody who's got some experience in that, and just kind of, you know, having your back and just some general just kind of guidance when it came to it. So far, I think it's really, really cool. And for the singles, the first singles that you guys released, for the fans that aren't familiar, were the dual single of Phantom Lover and Daughters of Darkness.
Right.
Absolutely. And we'll get into the breakdown on those a little bit for sure. I just want to kick it around the table a bit. So Steve, let's bring you in, man.
So welcome back, guys. It's been a really long time since I've seen you guys on here. So you guys have different color hair. Me, all good. So the question is, as far as so you explained it briefly about lyrics wise. She took care of most of the lyrics. and then you took care of most of the music. Did you take care of all the music? Like you played drums, guitar, keyboards?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, and it's always a collective effort. Where she'll run the lyrics by me. She'll show me what she's got, and
You'll add a lot.
yeah, I mean, just from having a little bit of experience, like writing and stuff. So, I'll say like, do this or, put word this way, or, don't use this word twice, or something like that. And then in terms of the music, like, she'll say like, I want something that sounds like this, in terms of like playing instruments, you don't really play anything.
Yeah.
We'll get there though.
Look, I don't play an instrument, but there's certain.
But she knows what she wants, and then I kind of just make it come to life.
He makes the magic happen. He reads me like I just have to say a couple of words, and he's like, "I already got you." Like we're so connected, and he takes it. I have a vision, and then he makes the vision not only happen, but bigger and better than I could ever imagine. And then my problem is I'm a crier, so every time he does something, I'm like bawling and crying. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I knew you were gonna cry." And the first time I heard our first song fully mixed, I couldn't even talk. I just broke down crying. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not okay," because there's not a better feeling than that. All the hard work, all the stress, all the blood, sweat, and tears when you get it to the end, and the process is like so fun and amazing. Like I love the process.
It's fun until you start, naming your files. I use Logic to record everything, and it's like final mix 1, and then you get up to like number 13, and it's like, all right, this is really final mix, final mix, and that's when I start having a meltdown, and that's when it becomes a little stressful. But up until that, it's a lot of fun, and
that's why they created alcohol.
Right, yes.
Cheers. I was just going to say, there we go.
Absolutely, for sure. So I think it's about that time to bring in our friend who's been cruising a little bit out on the road. So Bobby, if you can hear me, man, it's all you.
And unmute yourself.
Unmute. Oh, sorry. That was my fault. I was trying to unmute him.
Hey,
Sorry, Bobby.
So I hope you guys can hear me. I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm with our gal, Miss Nitra Nitra, and I'm with more fucking drag queens than you could shake a stick at tonight. I didn't know you could duct tape that shit that far. So the
Sounds like
coolest
my
thing
kind of
is,
action.
So here's the coolest thing. So the club we're in tonight is Club Mango in Orlando tonight, where Nitra Nitra is going to be performing at 10:30. But the club is owned by Pitbull, which fucking rocks. So they gave us carte blanche. So I'm going to walk back to the room and I'm going to introduce you to some of the ladies. Ladies. But this is great. I'm so glad you guys came on. And I got to give a big shout out. Look, Psycho Steve is turning 40 again. We got that big event coming up. We got the BLE event coming up at the end of July. Jay, Steve, Angel. But what we got this weekend is our gal Nitro performing. And Bud. So let me just let me bring you into the ladies. I could tickle your ass with a feather.
No, let's.
He gets that from me.
No,
that's pretty fun doing that.
Of course it is.
Feather reminding me of Big Bird.
So here you are. So we're in the back room with the ladies getting ready to get on. Hey, see? Say hi. All right, so we're going to be rocking them. Are we going to be what?
Are you getting in drag too?
No, I just love. Look, I just love the D.
Fair enough, brother.
I'm at Disney. But no, this is great. It's great. I'm so glad you guys came on. It's amazing that having you guys on again. What can we expect new from you? I mean, coming out now, just through the pandemic and everything else that you guys have, we've all struggled through. So, what can the Metal Summiters expect from, Ghost in Your Heart?
Well, we're about, I'd say, 75% through a new song. It'll be our first music video for that song. And then are we telling them what or no?
Yeah, I think you can tell them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want him to say it. I've been keeping everything a secret, but I'm gonna let him give the two secrets.
Oh,
Okay,
we are happy to release that if you guys are down for that.
Yeah, of course.
We love a full release.
World premiere. Yeah, world premiere.
Give him the big gusto.
New song, new video. We're doing a cover of Pet Sematary by the Ramones. And we are hoping, if the stars and time, of course, align, full-length album by the end of the year.
Very cool.
So, we want to do, we want to do like a vinyl release and everything like that. And
Start playing live.
we'll talk about shows soon.
Yeah.
We got to put it, the full band together. As we just mentioned, we've just been doing everything ourselves. So it's really going to be about finding the right fit, finding people that are into it, and, just getting that all rolling. But show-wise, probably end of the year, early 2023.
Where are we looking at a tour? Are we looking at anything on the East Coast? Are we, looking to partner?
Eventually.
Are we looking to partner with anybody?
Perhaps, yeah, of course. I mean,
we have our goals. Love for Mr. Manson to come back out of retirement to go on tour with Manson, but never know.
We'll get there.
Well, hey, Ministry's back. Look, the Cult just came back out. Who would have ever thought that would have Ian Asbury coming back out on tour?
But yeah, we'll see where it takes us, and for right now, that's the plan. We're just gonna work through the summer, and hopefully by October, we'll have pretty much the full length done, and then if it comes out in October, great. If not, by the end of the year.
Right on.
Anything you could tease us with now? I mean, is there just the tip you can give us?
Our new song that is coming out that actually Jay is in the music video is called Vamp. It's called Blood Champagne. So that's the new song that we'll be releasing next with the music video. So we're very excited for that.
Yes.
Now the Metal Summit will get the exclusive.
100%. You guys get first post of the music video, the song, everything.
That's awesome. We love seeing our brother Jay in videos. Like I said, he shot Miss Nitra Nitra, with a little bit of the head nod.
This was more dark, but yeah, I love those little heads.
No, it was
Roxy.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely my pleasure. I just went by the instructions that I was given. Lizzy gave me a call and was like, "Hey, we've got this new song, this video idea. This is what I need from you, but the ideas are kind of up to you. Just this is what I need, and this is what we need." And hopefully the various things that I've sent have worked out in some way, shape, or form.
All good, man.
Beautiful. He's the editor too, so he's the master at all this and everything. He was like, I could do this, I could do this. So, he's the master at the music and the videos and very, very.
So I want to throw this out to you real quick. So since Jay's in the video, did you guys do it around the area? Is it based right the Baltimore area? I mean, how did?
No, we're just with, limited time, limited travel. Everything's kind of being done remote right now. But you never know what'll happen, for that. But yeah, we're just kind of piecing it together. He sent us some stuff, and it was more than perfect, more than great, and it'll be good. We'll definitely going to put our spin on everything too, where it's.
So I have to take a second to thank a dear friend of mine, a friend of the family of the Rock and Horror and Ghost in Your Heart camp, Ron S. From Empire, who's helped us, like you guys know, with stuff we've done at M3 before. But Ron was gracious enough to assist me in certain filming and certain shots that I kind of had a vision for that I wanted to, that I thought would work in Mark and Lizzie's ballpark idea for how they wanted to do their Vizzy. So, Ron, I appreciate you, dude. I love you, man, and thank you so much for that.
Ron,
that rocks.
Yeah, absolutely. But on that note, Angel, let's kick it up to you, man, to Mark and Lizzie's fans, to the Metal Summoners. How are you doing this evening? And it's all you, brother.
I'm awesome. Thank you. My question is, because you mentioned earlier that when you're mixing a song, sometimes you get to the 12th, 13th mix. How do you know when a song is done and when to, I guess, just leave it along the way that it is?
What a question. Because
I ask you that all the time.
She'll have no clue what I've tweaked or what I've done differently. And she's like, yeah, it sounds the same to me. But, I have to be completely neurotic about it. And, something's not, to my ears, right, or this isn't loud enough, or, whatever it may be. I'm totally OCD about it. And just, how do I know? Probably when I'm sick of going back and doing it again enough that I don't care anymore. And that, it sounds good enough to me. But with that said, I mean, like I said before, it is a process, and I kind of mix as I go, and then once the final product is there, listen on multiple sets of speakers, multiple sets of headphones in the car, this and that, as many ways as I possibly can, and I think it just finally comes down to I'm like, all right.
Done.
It's done, and she says I can't tell the difference. So when she can't tell the difference, then I know, all right, you know what? Let's just move on from this because there's always the next one. And we go back and we listen to everything. After we put it out, just to hear what we've done and hear it back with a fresh state of mind and a fresh view on it and say, okay, well, the next one, let's do this, let's do that. So it's always a work in progress, but, in terms of the mixing and the song being done, I mean, kind of a cliche statement that I've heard, but it's like, when is anything ever done? You know what I mean? It could always have something else, or this could be louder, that whatever, but as long as we're happy with it and we can rock out and it sounds good as the total package, then it's done. And also when it's time for us to move on to the next one, and just keep it going. We want to keep the wheel spinning. So.
Absolutely, for sure.
Awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about your first singles, which you guys released as like if you purchased them off of like iTunes, for example, they were kind of an A-side, B-side single. You put about as like a 2-song package, and that was Phantom Lover and Daughters of Darkness. just talk a little bit about those singles, just kind of individually, kind of as you see fit, because Phantom Lover was the first one that I remember you kind of putting out little tidbits of as teasers. And then you followed that up with Daughters of Darkness. That's got like, I got to tell you, it's got some serious length to it. That's like your black number one.
Yeah.
Right.
Heavily influenced by Type of Negative, obviously.
Yeah. You want
Sorry, Phantom Lover. Phantom Lover was the first one that obviously we recorded. And for me, it, everything that comes out is pretty like meaningful and emotional and spiritual, or has a meaning to me, and I hope people take it for whatever. Like, I want them to feel whatever they feel. But Phantom Lover for me was that goth love song, rock song, goth and roll, that is when you're with somebody, you love them, that you're obsessed with, a healthy obsession. And to me, that was just going back to like the traditional love song, but a little morbid, a little deeper, a little darker, and obviously highly obsessed with you. So a lot of my writings do stem from, but I'm hoping that people can take that into, I'm hoping that, someone has met somebody and loves them and is obsessed with them, to have like their photos on an altar, and they can't sleep without them, they can't eat without them, they bleed for them, they die for them. I feel like everybody should have that deep love. Daughters of Darkness, we lived in Salem, Massachusetts for almost 5 years, and that was basically a love song to Salem and the witches and what happened back then. And when I started writing that, Mark really got into it, and he was like, okay, I want you to sing it like this. And I was like, oh, no. You have to sing. This was, I wanted it to be this love song, and I didn't care how long it was, and I wanted this and this and this to it. And he needed to sing it. It needed to be his voice. And you really listen to that song, and you listen to the layers of the song. I mean, he's singing in his voice, and then he kind of goes into a darker voice. And I mean, it's his voice. I'm not trained in music, so for me, he's singing in his voice that I normally hear him, and then he drops down and he goes up. I mean, it's like a roller coaster, and there's so much sounds of birds and I don't know, like thunder and lightning and the winds, and it's very, if you know anything about Type of Negative and you like Black Number One, this song is almost a love song to that, but with Salem, Massachusetts, and like the whole witch trials, and I don't know, that's the song that everybody says, whoa, geez, it's almost 10 minutes, I don't know what to expect. But then you listen to it, you don't feel like you're there for that long. It's almost like the Tom Petty song. What's the Tom Petty song with the Johnny Depp? He's in the movie, he's in the video.
Into the Great Wide Open.
Thank you. I love you. Into the Great Wide Open. MTV didn't want to play that because they were like, we're not playing a 10-minute. But you watch that, you listen to that, you get lost in that. You don't feel like that's how Daughters of Darkness is. And just to go back for 1 second, the Vamp song of Blood Champagne is our first music video. It's a little bit of a mini movie. We want to take Daughters of Darkness and make it a real mini movie with that song, and do an intro and an exit with the song. So like this song is for me, like when he did this, his vocals, I was like, I'm dead. I'm just gonna lay on the ground. Like I was just so moved and so proud of him. And people can take it for what they are, for what it is. But everyone's just like, this song, and it was pretty cool. So like, it's really cool when people are like, they like what you produce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If that makes any sense. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just
No.
very excited
No.
about this song. Like that.
It's-
I know you guys gotta ask questions. I know you gotta talk, but that song, like, I love
It's
that.
your show.
It was the first song. Obviously, that was the first full thing that I've ever. But then you go into Daughters of Darkness and you're just like, holy shit! Can I cuss?
Yeah, it's got that deep,
That's all right.
tone to it, that love design and that like appreciation to home, because I mean, like you guys know, that's where I'm from and that's where I was born, and I'm very tied into that place and very connected. So there's parts of the song that you guys wrote, like Keep Protecting the Sisters and stuff like that, that I'm sitting there going like, it's talking about, everybody around the coven and like the whole like style and stuff. And Lizzy, you've always been very much just into that, that lifestyle, that love, that culture. So it was definitely super, very, very cool. And I did find it interesting when when I picked up the dual singles and realized that, you've got Phantom Lover at your standard 4 minutes, and then it's like, holy shit, it's 10 minutes long for Daughters of Darkness, because I had only heard the clips that you had released up until you officially put it out. But I mean, it's great. It's a very deep song. It's a very like loving cut, and it definitely comes across for sure if you know how to look for. I know that some people with their what is it, like thought spans or whatever, sometimes might get steered away from something that's got some length to it, but it's got a story behind it, and I love storytelling type songs, so I think that's very, very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with Phantom Lover, like she said, that was the first song we did, first song we recorded, and with pretty much everything, like, she'll bring me lyrics. She'll say, I wrote this. She'll give me her notebook. And with Phantom Lover and everything else, we sat right here. We're in the living room now, but we sat right over there in the kitchen. I had an acoustic guitar, and I started just taking a look at the lyrics and whatever, kind of I drew from that, and the melodies that started coming into my head, and just started playing some chords and singing the song, and she liked it. And that's typically the process. So it'll be, here's the lyrics, she writes all the lyrics, and like I said before, there'll be like minor tweaks like this and that, or like I'll come up with a line and say like, try this. So and that's why we work good together. She's very open and to what I say, and I'm very open to her input. But we just kind of started with the chord progression, and then I took that and went into my studio, and we knew we wanted it to be electronic. We knew we wanted it to be not just like straight up guitar based drums. You know what I mean? We wanted that gothic element. We mentioned Typo Negative, bands like 69 Eyes, that kind of stuff, Depeche Mode, so that whole spectrum, and beyond as well. But, like you said, 4 minutes, we wanted to keep that where we wouldn't get too off track with it. Verse, chorus, bridge, guitar solo, whatever it might be, that standard format, but still keep it interesting. And then when we got to Daughters of Darkness, we kind of just ran with it. And with that, that song and everything else, it was, we kind of just know, or like musically, like I'll know where it should go based on her vision with the lyrics. And then she'll say like, oh, I want it to sound like this. And from there, I'll say, okay, well, Daughters of Darkness, we need to do a piano intro. And from there, we went from the piano intro right into the hook, the Daughters of Darkness part, and, verse, chorus, that kind of format. But as we got going with it, I kind of was like, let's just take this as far as we can take it. Nobody's doing a 10-minute song. And that's blowing up my butt. Hey, Salem. But there was a time when, obviously with bands like Typo Negative, bands like Metallica, where that was, kind of a normal thing. And we just kind of said, well, let's bring this back. Let's do it. We have no commitments to anybody. We can do what we want. So Daughters of Darkness kind of just got built literally as we went along. I think like maybe I don't even remember. Maybe I ended up writing some lyrics to that in like some of the middle parts. And of course, like, you mentioned like Black Number One, like it's just such a epic song with so many, different parts to it. We wanted to do that. And of course there's that influence in there from, Black Number One. You could hear a little bit of Metallica influence in there with all of the vocals, because there's two of us obviously that are singing, Alice in Chains, big influence for me. We wanted to have those kind of harmonies in there and that kind of eerie sound. So, we're just drawn from everything that we like, and whatever comes out, comes out. But in terms of also, in Daughters of Darkness, like I said, it was just, the whole song wasn't written. She had the lyrics written, and we came up with like the melodies and the lyrical ideas. But once we got probably about 4 minutes in, I was like, let's just keep going and let's just see where we could take it. And I think our buddy Eric, I don't know if he's watching, listening, he told me, he said, this song is 10 minutes. I saw this was going to be 10 minutes. And I was like, what the hell is this? But it didn't seem like 10 minutes. And that's the biggest compliment that, we got on that, just simply for the fact of what you said, people's attention spans, the typical pop song, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, whatever it is. But like I said, we don't have any obligations to anybody. We're just going to do what we want to do. And we want to make things interesting. We, whether we bring that back or not, it doesn't matter. But the fact that you guys like it, somebody likes it, one person likes it, it doesn't matter. I think we did achieve the goal on that. So.
And it definitely has that very cool build to it. Like you mentioned Metallica, like it does have, when you get towards the end of to like Daughters of Darkness, where you've got like, the bass drum suddenly like kicking in heavy at the end of the song is very kind of reminiscent of either Master of Puppets from Metallica or even the Slash guitar solo in November Rain, where you've got this extended song that's doing its thing and riding its course, and then you get that little extra, basically just that little extra that's a little tweak on the song, but it works and it fits.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Steve, let's kick it back up to you, my good guy.
So could we expect any special guests on this album, or is it just going to be the two of you?
Well, we're thinking about a couple of our musician friends that people may know, but we can't really talk about it yet.
Okay.
You gotta make sure everything happens. I mean,
yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna say. We definitely want to do that. We definitely have some people in mind we'd like to work with. And hopefully that works out. But as of right now, there's no concrete plan for that. But hopefully we could let you know on that soon.
We do have for the Vamp song, Blood Champagne, there is something kind of really cool that I'm really excited about. Mark's guitar solo, instead of the traditional slide, he's using a wine bottle. So we will have video and tutorial on how to do it. Instead of doing a slide, he's going to be doing a blood champagne wine bottle. So we're kind of something kind of cool and like creepy and very what's that guy that I like?
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello. I would love for Tom Morello to come do something, but you can get him on board. But he's doing our own version of a Tom Morello with a blood champagne wine bottle, and kind of like really excited to like be able to let you guys see how that works out.
Sweet.
That's like a little secret, another secret we're releasing.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting a lot of exclusives tonight.
Yes, that's 3 secrets.
Nice.
3 secrets.
You're a fan of exclusive.
We love the exclusives.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely, we do, for sure. Well, go ahead, Bobby. Roll with it, my guy.
So I gotta say, so you brought Jay in. With that video, what are we gonna go for? Are we going for a little bit of nostalgia horror? Are we going for we know where Jay is. He loves to freaking hang upside down sleeping. So that Nosferatu thing. So what are we shooting for with the video? You got me intrigued on that one.
The video is he loves Hollywood, old Hollywood, so it's gonna be the very old Hollywood vintage club scenes mixed with a little paying respects to the Lost Boys. So there'll be parts of that from a horror movie and a little old school of Nosferatu. So it will be it'll be very vampire.
Very Lon Chaney, so we're gonna go, a little dark.
Little like if you guys like Rob Zombie, how he plays, homage to like the old classics. So it's going to be a very vampire party in Hollywood mixed with old Hollywood, new Hollywood. So a lot of fun stuff.
We love that. Jay, and I hope all that blood doesn't rush to your head when you hang upside down.
No.
The only time I could say something. The only time I like when the blood rushes to my head is with a little Viagra, but that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's too funny.
And this weekend I could sell it like it's crap down here.
Oh, just what we need, Bobby, for you to become a pusher at the drag show.
It makes the duct tape go like this.
Yeah, just don't poke anybody if it's more than 4 hours.
So before we kick it up to Angel, Lizzie, Mark, you guys had mentioned Vamp Red Champagne. You guys had also mentioned Pet Cemetery. Is the current thing that you guys are working on for your next planned release? Are you looking to do Red Champagne next, or are you looking to do Pet Cemetery next? If that's something that you guys can disclose.
I think we're gonna, yeah. I think we'll probably. I was kind of on the fence about like putting out another single or just doing the full length. But when the idea for the video came in, we said let's do one more. And so Blood Champagne, that's gonna be next. The video will pretty much be right with it. And then as far as the cover, like the Pet Cemetery thing, that was just kind of, again, like this is all just based on what we both love and, what we're inspired by. So the way I'm doing it is, very much different than the way it was recorded by the Ramones. It's going to be all electronic, all very, synthesized and dark, gothic. I mean, not that it wasn't originally on the record, but we just want to take that completely somewhere else. Hopefully everybody likes it, but we'll save that for, the full length. And it's funny because you mentioned like with Daughters of Darkness being 10 minutes long. I mean, I as far as the rest of the album, not really sure where it's going to go. I don't know. It could be 12, 13 songs. It could be 8, 9 songs, whatever gets us to that full length. But again, I mean, with everything that we want to do, it's going to be non-traditional. As far as the music video, it's not going to be, not that every video is a standard format or anything, but we don't want to just be like, the band playing in the room and this and that. We want to really get creative with this stuff, really do something different, make everything almost like a mini movie, and take that from there, and whatever happens. As far as the exact plan for it, we don't have one. As with Daughters of Darkness, it kind of just comes along as we go, and we're also inspired by that too. Once it starts to come, take shape and have life to it, then we'll say, oh, well, we should do this now. And it might change 20 times, 100 times, whatever it might be. But we definitely want to keep it non-traditional, keep it as interesting as we can, as weird and as creepy as we can, because, there's really no sense doing things a traditional, safe way, if that makes sense,
Yeah, no, definitely. And one more thing for this. So we had discussed this on your guys' last episode because, Mark, you've also put out a lot of music under your Blood Joint band. And you had talked about how Lizzy does the lyrical writing for Ghost in Your Heart. Do you find that you have to separate the way you're doing the music for Ghost in Your Heart to make it different from Blood Joint, or does it kind of intertwine because of your taste and style?
That's a good question.
It is a good question, and the answer is both. I've always been into like the electronic aspect of rock and roll, because let's just face it, like as many different subgenres there are, it's at the end of the day, it's all rock and roll, really, for the most part. So I've always liked adding keyboards and synthesizers and those kind of elements to anything I've done. But with Ghost in Your Heart, yes, we wanted it to be different, but at the same time, like with the Blood Joints, like the song coming out for Terror Tunes, it's total metal. It's a metal song. I don't think we did any kind of electronics in it, other than just like an intro and an outro kind of thing, just like a little creepy sound effects. It's for a movie, so we want to have that element, that kind of horror movie too, obviously. So that kind of dark, creepy element to it. But once it kicks in, it's a metal song. You know what I mean? So as everything kind of evolves, as the Blood Joint stuff evolves, and primarily my focus has been on this right now, just because it's really interesting to be able to work together, and also like it's nice. Like I like having her write the lyrics because it's just she has really good ideas, and I like being able to take something, be given something, and say, okay, I could do this with this, and then making a song out of it, rather than the way I normally would work is come up with like some music ideas and then put lyrics to it. Sometimes I have a lyric pop into my head and I'll say, all right, I'll work around this. But it's nice having that other person give me something that I can create from, as opposed to having to just throw it all out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
You're amazing.
You're welcome. No.
Whoa.
But
I got a big head now.
yeah, in terms of what you're asking, yes, I want it to be different, but if there is overlap, I don't think it really matters. I look at bands like Slipknot and then Stone Sour. Again, at the end of the day, one might be a little heavier than the other, but it's still rock and roll, and it's still all right in the same field. So whatever happens.
Absolutely, man. No, 100% for sure. Angel, let's kick it up to you, bro.
Excuse me.
Yes, definitely got a question from Brian. He wants to know, in your opinion, the best singer, best guitarist, best bassist, and best drummer.
I'm gonna go
form
with
your-
best singer. I'm gonna go with Stevie Nicks. I'm just gonna throw Stevie Nicks, and I've been pretty obsessed with. This might throw everyone for a loop here, but if you haven't listened to Kat Von D yet, her album is it's pretty beautiful.
It was surprisingly really good.
It was really good. She gets a lot of crap from people because they want her to stay tattooing, but if you listen to that album from beginning to end,
we saw her downtown San Diego. She put on a great show.
A great show. Her and her husband, but
even I was skeptical about what is this going to be, but the album was really solid. You just at the end of the day, you have to look at the songwriting. You have to look at the final product. Forget what people's opinions are of her or her views or whatever her views might have been in the past and this and that. But it was a great album.
You can go on that journey with her for her songs, and that's the most important part about music is if you can escape it. And I'm gonna let you continue with vocals and not only think about drums and bass and guitars.
Look, in terms of who's the best at anything, honestly. I think it's a lot subjective. I don't think there's a straight answer for that. I mean, you could, look at technicality and say that person's the best at what they do, or you could look at the feel in their playing and say that person's the best at what they do, or you could look at the songwriting aspect, among a bunch of other things. I think it's totally subjective. You have guys that sit in their bedrooms and all they do is like work on shred guitar kind of styles all day long, and there's something to be said for that. That's great. There's so much talent that goes into that. But at the same time, guitar players that really just their guitar solos that stand out and stand the test of time. For me, people like Slash, it might not be the most technical. People might say, oh, he's not the best, but, do you remember the solo from November Rain or not? You know what I mean? Like, for me, the answer is obviously yes. But I could tell you, like, in terms of, when I was growing up and I was a kid, I was really into Metallica, and I remember my friends being like, "Oh, Kirk Hammett's the best guitar player." Whether you think that or not, obviously there are people that can play, if you want to say, better than him. Fine, but I don't think there's an answer to that. For me, influence-wise, vocals, Lane Staley, definitely, right up there. Guitar-wise, I grew up on Dimebag Darrell, Kirk Hammett, Dave Mustaine, those guys. But I also think like Kurt Cobain did some really interesting things on the guitar. So is the question about talent or technicality, or is it about innovation? It can really go either way. Taylor. Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace. Amazing drummers. I don't know who the best drummer is, to be honest with you. When I ask you about bass, Cliff Burton, all the way. I just think the things he did, especially back then, those, distorted bass solos, Anesthesia. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know who was doing that kind of stuff at the time, but amazing. You know what I mean? And was he the most technical? No, but I think it really just depends on what your influence is. And the best is what inspires you to be better.
You're going to be a chick vocalist, I want to know.
Chick vocal. Well, I love Stevie Nicks.
You're the current. Or
I don't know. I don't know. In terms of the best or my favorite,
someone that influences you, heavily.
Well, look, I don't know if she's the best, but I really dig the Interrupters lately.
Oh, she's amazing.
That girl Amy, yeah. I think she's great. I think we saw them with Green Day and Fall Out Boy and Weezer 6 months ago, whatever it was, and she put on a great show. The energy's there, and
her tone, her texture, her sound is and I'm learning, from these
yeah, she's almost. You could tell that I think she was produced by Tim Armstrong from Rancid. But
Yeah.
you could sense that, and I think it's great that whole style is coming back. All those punk bands were a big influence for me back in my 16-year-old skateboarding days. So.
Oh yeah, Bobby went and saw that tour in Hershey, PA, and he was talking about the Interrupters for like a month.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah.
So I think they're a great band. Their new single "In the Mirror" is awesome. But is she the best singer? I have no idea, but I like it. You know what I mean? When I hear them, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna.
Buy this album.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
But I also do happen to know that you guys do love some Liam Gallagher.
Wow. That's godlike.
I know.
You can't talk anything about Liam Gallagher without us being Liam Gallagher. We have a Liam Gallagher carved pumpkin up there that lights up. I mean, he is godlike, and I think Oasis is one of the biggest influences. Even though our music may not sound like that, just somebody. I mean, Liam just posted. He was just on some British TV show the other day, or music channel. And they were asking him about singing, and he was like, I don't have time to worry about my diaphragm and how I'm singing. I just go out there and F it, and I just do it, and I just push. And there's something to respect of one of the last great rock stars, because I don't know if anyone has seen, what's the Oasis documentary? The one where they play the big show. Do you remember?
I'm totally drunk. Supersonic.
Supersonic. Watch Supersonic, and it was before cell phones. It was before people were at the shows just taking pictures of themselves and recording. It was wall-to-wall people, a great rock show of people showing their boobs and drinking and just having a good time and crowd surfing, and just the music. It was just plain rock and roll. People having a good time. They didn't care about checking in on their Instagram or their Facebooks or their Twitters. They just wanted to go out there. They didn't have it, but it was simple, and it was beautiful, and it was magical. And he is one of the greatest musicians of all time. I mean, he has his own sound. His voice is an instrument. Liam Gallagher. If you're blinded and you hear somebody singing, that's Liam Gallagher, and he's cool.
Right.
He brings back the coolness. I mean, everyone's so scared to be cool and scared to say what they want to say. Who's cool as fuck, but Liam Gallagher? I mean,
Absolutely.
And I think that's important too. You know what I mean? I mean, no one on this planet is going to say Noel Gallagher is the best guitar player, but the guitar solo in Live Forever is amazing.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. So I don't know, maybe he is the best guitar player because he wrote it. You know what I mean? And Liam, he might not be the best singer. He might cancel shows because he loses his voice because he didn't sing properly.
But when he's on that stage, you feel it.
Yeah, I mean, but there was a point in time where they were one of the, if not the biggest band in the world, and so I don't know. Who do you guys think are the best? I'd love to throw this back.
I just want to say one thing before you get into it. He doesn't cry a lot. I've only seen him cry a couple times, mostly about our cats. He cried, and I cried. We saw Liam Gallagher in New York City, and he came out and Live Forever, full on, and that is a musician. That is a rock star.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna throw it at you. You guys tell us your influences.
Well, it's funny because we did a giveaway not that long ago, and the question that I posed to people was just kind of to put together their kind of ideal, kind of dream band, their kind of ideal lineup. I personally did my lineup based off the bands and people in the bands that were the most important to me. So my singer was Freddie Mercury because I just love Queen. My keyboardist was Josh Silver for the exact same reason. His tone, you don't have to know who Typo Negative is, but his tone is incredibly unique. And if you do know Typo, you can hear his playing and you're going to know that that's Josh's keyboard work. Right. Guitar player, I did Michelangelo Badio. Bass player, I did Nikki Sixx because he's one of the main reasons, along with Rachel Bolan, that I picked up a bass to begin with. And drummer, I did Joey Jordison. Between everything he did that influenced me, from playing in Slipknot to starting the Murder Dolls, who I hold very near and dear, and then also drumming for Rob Zombie. So I put together my bands based off the people that kind of influenced me the most and stuff. Steve?
I would have to go with Dimebag Darrell on guitar, just because everybody has like a certain signature sound. You know, you say this person, and everything, but it's all about what they feel, and they put it into their singing, their guitar playing, their bass playing, whatever instrument they're playing. It's their signature. You know, people always mock Skid Row because they've had so many different lineups and everything, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's not Sebastian." That's right. Like Eric is not Sebastian Bach. Johnny Solinger was not Sebastian Bach. Tony Harnell was not Sebastian Bach. He brought a signature sound and made him successful, but then they all brought on something different to make them sound good, or, you know, some people felt they were better with him, without him, you know. So I would definitely say like Dime, because of he was a dear friend and family member, kind of. Then I would have to say bass, even though he's not a really technical bass player, just because he's from my favorite band, which is Kiss, so Gene Simmons, because he also has, you know, what he's brought to the table, not just his music playing, but just his entertainment value.
Right.
Then I would have to say, as far as in drums, I would have to say possibly it's between two. It would either be Neil Peart, or I also like Portnoy, Mike Portnoy.
Sure.
Great drummer. And then if I was going to throw another guitarist, I really like John Five. I just think he's just entertainment to just watching him play, and he's freaking incredible to play. But, you know, just
his shows are great. I mean, we've seen him a handful of times, and it, you know, just getting up there playing the guitar, it's still super entertaining.
Right. And that's what you guys do. You're entertainers, you know, and vocally, I was really impressed because I just recently to see Queensryche and Judas Priest for their 50th anniversary. And we had Todd on the show, and, you know, I've seen some YouTube videos, and, you know, he put his own spin on Queensryche, but wow, his voice, you know, he went to the lows, to the highs, and everything in between, and they make it so like effortless. And then with keyboards, I would have to say probably, what's his name? Oh my God. I really like Jordan Rudess from Dream Theater, or Derek Sherinian, because he's played with so many other people. So there you have it.
Nice. Very, very cool. Hell yeah. And Angel, I wanted to bring you in on this last to answer Mark and Lizzie's question on that, but also to keep the segment with you as well. So go ahead, Angel, put together your band and then continue on with the segment.
On bass, you can't go wrong with Cliff Burton. I mean, it fucking sucks that he only did 3 albums and that what happened to him, because you just wonder, you know, what would Metallica be like with him? Everybody to this day wonders, hey, what have they done the Reload albums with his blessing and approval to do that? Guitars, wow, too many to name. Because I'm more of a drummer person, so I'm gonna go with drummers. The drummer from Kickin' Valentina, I love the way he kicks ass on drums. Lars Ulrich, when he had the 4 toms, the first 5 albums, just because I just loved how he was playing with the double bass and so on. Tico Torres, the drummer from Bon Jovi, I've always been a fan of. Rob Affuso, people People, yes, he's a great drummer. People always talk about Sebastian Bach, but nobody talks about him. He's not in the band anymore,
True.
but he's a
No,
great drummer.
I'm saying really because okay. Proceed.
Uh, thank you. Singers, that's a tough one. You can't go wrong with Rob Halford. Mick Jagger, who's 78 years old and still fucking putting on the show. He's in Spain doing the fucking concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to be 78 and look like that. Um, Let me get to the questions, and then I'll get to Candy's question. My question is a two-part question. When it comes to songwriting, do you ever come up with a title first? And the second part to the question is, if you don't mind sharing, how do you start? What is the beginning of you writing a song? Is it the lyrics first? Is it a melody? Is it something that comes into your head for you to play?
I think like definitely. Well, in terms of like song title, yeah. I mean, she like when she brings the lyrics, you typically have the title
Yeah, I
there.
have it.
Which obviously ends up being like the hook in the chorus and everything. So I mean, specifically with "Ghost in Your Heart," it's usually the lyrics first, which I know isn't always the most common way to do it. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Again, there's no rules. She'll usually bring me a set of lyrics with the title, and I'll just take it from there and take them and start strumming chords, come up with a melody, and then from there, once that foundation is done, where we can at least say, okay, well, we have a verse idea. We have a chorus idea, most importantly. All right, I'm going to go start making the music for this. And from there, it just kind of gets built. Nothing is ever complete when it goes to be the start of the recording process. Like I mentioned with Daughters of Darkness, which again was just built as we go and said, okay, well, we have this, verse, chorus, now what? So it's kind of similar. Obviously, for the other two songs right now are shorter, so those are more kind of standard formats. But from the beginning, most of the lyrics were there. The title of the song was there, and that could also go either way in the future. But that's up to this point how it's worked out.
It's sort of like get in the mood and I write, and it's very I don't know if you guys follow Stevie Nicks a lot, but she journals. So I journal a lot. So it's feelings, emotions, sense. If I hear something, see something, we'll be at the gym and I'll be putting it on my phone.
She's very dark and tragic.
Yeah, I'm dark. Like
haven't noticed.
I'll wake up at 2:00 in the morning, have to jot stuff down, and if I smell something or see something or feel something or something affects my mood, I write. I'm very moody, and so that's just how I write. Very Stevie Nicks here. Tons of journals, tons of notes, papers all over the place, and I'm just constantly feeding some stuff, and you're just like, okay, this works, this does not work because you're a little too moody. This doesn't make any sense. What were you thinking today?
Well, no, I don't think it's like that.
Sometimes I write about my cat. I have a song called Vampy. Not Vamp, our song, but like a song about our cat Vampy eating, not wanting to eat his food. So you can't really put a song out about him not wanting to eat his food. But no one's gonna care. But so he's just like, yeah, no.
So once Mark, let's say he does the melody and puts something to it, do you ever go back to change the lyrics to anything?
Sometimes because I've learned from him for singing that sometimes the way I write can't really sing, doesn't really fit. So he's great with everything he does, even songwriting. So he could take things that I wrote and go, maybe we switch this word, maybe we take this out, maybe phrase it this way, switch the lyrics around so it flows. So the first couple songs, Gun Lover and Daughters of Darkness, I'm learning and vamp the Blood Champagne. I'm getting better as I'm writing. I'm not writing, like, for me, I'm like writing a story or a script. And you say, okay, this isn't a movie, this isn't a poem, this isn't like, a journal. You could still write like this, but you have to make it has a flow. Sometimes I don't flow good.
Yeah, it's just
And so he's grooming me and teaching me how to take my writing, it's very visual, and turn it into a song, phrasing, different words make, sometimes, if you're saying, sometimes certain words don't sing well with other words. You kind of have to. So he's teaching me. Everything's a learning process for me. So I'm totally green, and I'm just a flower waiting to have my water, and he's just watering me every day, teaching me all these things, and I'm absorbing, and I just want more and more and more. And as he's teaching me, I'm getting better and better, and I'm really excited for like all the new stuff because I feel from him, he's taught me how to write so he doesn't have to rearrange it as much. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think what you said. It's a matter of flow and what's going to work with the song. So, if something's a little too wordy or, my big thing with songwriting, don't use the same word too many times. Let's find a different word for that. But, the idea still stays the same. And like I said, it's nice, be writing the lyrics. And it's also nice to take what's in her head and put it to music and, do that again, instead of like having to worry about, well, I wrote this, what's going to fit. It's kind of interesting taking something that's lyrically already written and then putting music to it and seeing how this is going to work.
We write totally differently. Like when he writes, I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, I don't know. It just means, whatever. And I'm well, mine means, you know what I mean? Like I write very.
She writes very specific. I write very well. Yeah, very open-ended. Where a lot of the times, lyrics will just come to me, and I'll be like, okay, that's going to be a song lyric. And a lot of the times, it'll be at 3, 4 in the morning. I wake up with a song idea in my head. What do these words mean? I have no freaking clue what it means. It's just there, but as long as I think it's relatable to somebody else, it doesn't matter what the lyrics are.
And that's my thing. Is like I want to know why did you write this?
She's very literal.
I want to know the meaning. I want deep meaning. Like I know what it feels to me when I hear his songs, but like I want to know what you were. So for me, when I like write, I'm like, this is what I felt, and Mark's like, okay, but you got to keep it open ended because it can't be too personal. And I'm like, yeah, well, I love you and I want to like stab you. And he's like, okay, like our last song, Black Roses, No Crucifix. It's like I wrote about like put a knife in the toaster. I don't know. Like one morning I was making us breakfast and I was just like, I'm gonna put this knife in the toaster and like turn it on. And he was like, what are you talking about? It's just like very weird. I'm very weird.
And I looked at that and I was like, how the hell are we gonna make this one work? But I think we did. So.
Absolutely, for sure. Hey, Angel, is there a way to adjust our screen a little bit until Steve comes? Perfect.
Way. There we go.
Thank you, brother.
And Candy has a question. She wants to know, can you show a close-up of the Ouija pillow behind you? Which, hold on 1 second. Nope, wrong person. You don't want to see that.
Boom.
Yeah, they cook
That's awesome.
Wrong. Sorry, still learning how to do the screens.
You're okay, brother. No worries.
Better than we could be. I don't know how to do it.
No.
Angel, besides Candy, do we have any current questions?
Nope. Right back to you, Jay.
No worries. It's all good, fans. We still got Mark and Lizzie for a little bit longer, so we still got a few things to discuss, but it is last call for alcohol, guys. So any final comments questions, anything that you want to ask them, make sure you get them into the comments so that way we can get back to them and we can get those things answered for you guys. So it is last call for alcohol. But Lizzy, I wanted to bring this one back to you because you touched on the song a little bit, so I wanted you to break it down because we hadn't really talked on the third single yet. And I thought it was actually really cool because when you called me kind of just asking me to be involved in Blood Champagne, you were telling me, like, I think you'll really attach to this song and I think you'll really connect with it. Because honestly, I think the first three singles are all fantastic and I really like them a lot, but I really definitely did connect with Black Roses No Crucifix because it definitely had that emotional tie to it about, like, you know, pain, emotion, and reaction, especially like the lyric you touched on when it comes to the your love is like a knife in the toaster. So what was it about putting together that song and writing that song up that because it was also a little bit faster, it was a little bit of a heavier song in comparison to the previous two?
Like, I always wanted everything that we did with Ghost in Your Heart just to be like from the Ghost in Our Heart. As cliche as that may sound, if it was going to be Phantom Lover and it was going to be more, and then the Daughters of Darkness, be about the Daughters of Darkness, and then Black Roses No Crucifix is I wanted, when we talked about it, we wanted everything to be different. So this is like a definite heavier song. And when I wrote that and I gave it to Mark, and he just right away, he knew this is what it's going to be. And it's just more of that, like, broken heart. I don't know. It's to me, I don't know if people will get this. It's, I'm all about deepness. If you listen to Phantom Lover and then you go listen to Black Roses No Crucifix, it's a part 2 to Phantom Lover. So, I don't want to put that in people's heads, but that's what it was for me. It's the part 2 to that. It's almost like a continuation. And if you listen to them back to back, you get it. So, like, I kind of didn't mean for that to happen, and actually didn't realize that until Jacob Craig. One of our friends was getting married, and he used Phantom Lover for his wedding song. But he messaged us and said, "Did you realize?" He said, "Did you do this on purpose?" And he said, "Black Roses No Crucifix, is that a follow-up to Phantom Lover?" And I just went back and listened, and I was like, holy shit. Like, when you really listen to it, it kind of, like, really is. And it's just like, I didn't mean for it to happen, but it just happened to be, like, that revenge song.
Right.
In a way. And I don't want to put it into people's heads. I want people to feel what they want to feel. But I feel like I'm writing for everybody that has ever loved and lost and wants that love back, and that hurt and that pain, but that love, not that you've ever hurt me. It's just it's almost like I also dream a lot, so I have a lot of bad dreams, and I think, like, that's like my worst fear is not having. So I sort of write a lot of my fears too.
Sure.
So.
And that's probably the reason, like, that I think I connected with the song personally so much. I mean, Lizzy, you know me better than most, but I have. It's not a sob story. It's just kind of the way that life is currently kind of worked out. It's like I've got a little bit more of, a little more current damage when it comes to previous relationships and stuff. Things haven't quite worked out as I like them to, but that's okay. But that was one of the things I really like, because you've got the lyrics of the song where, damage that was brought, all the chaos that we caused, all the love that we lost, but you're still forever in my heart. I think that's also one of the reasons why I kind of connected with that song, is it spoke to me. I can absolutely see the connection to Phantom Lover for sure, because the funny thing is about Phantom Lover connecting with Black Roses No Crucifix, it kind of reminds me actually a little bit of two of Mark's songs in Blood Joint, where you had Anthem of the Dead using the lyric Another Bloody Winter, and then the song Another Bloody Winter coming out a little while later.
Right.
So, you know,
Happy accidents. That's perfect.
Well,
Was that an accident?
no, it wasn't an accident. I mean, it all kind of ties together. And you know, in terms of what we were saying before about making things theatric and you know, these songs and these videos should be a mini movie or a mini story or you know whatever you want to call it. That just kind of worked out where that kind of tied in to the other one. You know what I mean? And I want things to have that kind of connection. You know, it's still the same band. You know what I mean? It's still the same, you know, artist putting that out. So Anthem of the Undead and Another Bloody Winter, yeah, that's in there. But I think that's interesting to connect that. And I think it's actually super interesting that you picked up on that because I think most people wouldn't. But so I appreciate it.
no, absolutely.
And that's cool. You know what I mean? Like it should be that way. These things should tie in. It should kind of play off one another and all kind of do this kind of thing. To me, that's super interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%.
As opposed to, well, here's a song, here's another album. Like I don't know, it's cool. It's an interesting thing to do, and you know, much appreciated when people pick up on it.
No, absolutely, man, for sure. And before I kick it down to Angel again, I want to take you guys slightly off Ghost in Your Heart for a second to just some of the other various projects that you do. So people that are familiar with you guys off of on social medias and everything like that, either may or may not be familiar with your guys' clothing company, which is Rock and Horror. So I wanted to touch on that briefly as well. What can you guys just tell us about the company? And what I mean by that is, of course, with all of a sudden, you know, 2 years ago when the blackout happened, you guys were very much on the road. Go, you know, from cons to cons, different experiences, and taking your company on the road. What can you tell us just about Rock and Horror in general and the possibility of seeing you guys out, whether it be Monster Mania, Horror Hound, or anything like that?
I think, well, right now, our focus is creating. So it's going to be, for the time being, we just want to create as much new stuff as possible. And being on the, I mean, being on the road hinders that. I can tell you this, we're definitely not going to be traveling the way we used to.
Sure.
With it. Again, I'm from the East Coast. She's from California. I'm from New Jersey. Okay, so I have all my family, a ton of friends on the East Coast. Would love to get back at some point. Right now, no immediate plans. But so there is that connection. Love to see you guys, obviously. No set plans right now, but in terms of like going across the country, all that's kind of not going to happen anymore. So in the future for Monster Mania, those kind of events, yes, hopefully down the road. Right now, I think all we have planned is we have a show out in Phoenix, the Mad Monster Party, July, I think it's 8th to 10th. We're doing Midsummer Scream out here, Long Beach, California. That's the last weekend of July. I forget the exact dates. I think it's the 29th to the 31st, I guess.
On like music,
but yeah, I mean,
movies, more fashion, designer jewelry. We would be on the road so much if we would just get home just to print to go back on the road. We'd be home 2 days, print to go back on the road. That we weren't able to work on music or work on new ideas. And now, 2 years later, almost after the blackout, we have 2 rescue cats with our third cat. We have Clyde, Dampy, Salem, and now those 2 cats we've had, those 2 rescue cats, 9 months later, we have 2 more. We have Frankenstein and Casper. So 5 cats is a little hard to take on the road and travel with at this time. So our focus right now is working on music, movies.
Yeah.
So he's scoring. He's gonna start
I'm
scoring
gonna
for
say
some.
talk about the other movie project.
Yeah, he did a song for Terror Tunes, but he's also starting to score other horror movies and writing for that. So
And something else that we're both gonna be
yeah,
a part of.
we're actually both in a horror movie together. Can't give too much away. But it's very old school, very reminiscent of the Nosferatu with the music. There's no words to this movie. It's all done on visuals and creepy sounds and music. And he's doing all the sound effects and the music for that. So that's like a big project. Plus with the fashion, and then Ghost in Your Heart and Blood Joint, and then Mark's also solo, and then he's playing. Got 3 gigs: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just doing all his music stuff. It's just, I think right now we're just focusing on music, art, fashion. We just started our rock and horror lifestyle. So just a lot of stuff. Not a lot of traveling.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been a different story too if we hadn't been, blacked out for, at least a year, and depending on where you live, that may have lasted a little longer, like out here. But we're finally getting to the things that we wanted to get to when we relocated out here, and we're just gonna roll with that right now. There's no decision that say, oh, we're never gonna do this, we're never gonna do that again. But what's that?
We don't live like that.
In terms, we're really enjoying what we're doing, what we're creating, being able to create more. I mean, of course, there's a money aspect of being on the road and just traveling all the time and doing all these conventions, but we just get creative and make up for that in different ways, and it's kind of a trade-off. When you're able to put out more product and new ideas, it all kind of evens itself out. And again, like this is up until the pandemic is the first time we had been home and situated in 5 years, and not have to be unpacked and to have a steady, solid place to live and not have to pack it up. So kind of enjoying that right now too.
We always had a suitcase in the living room ready to pack. This is the first time that our suitcase is in a closet. I mean, that's like weird for us. I mean, we've never not lived out of a suitcase. So to be not on tour doing anything, just being at home, we had to learn to grocery shop. I mean, we didn't even know how to grocery shop properly. We're like, okay, what do you want to eat? How do we do this? We were just buying for days, and now we're still learning how to shop for a full week. We still go to the grocery store 4 times a week because we're so programmed, but we're still learning how to shop. I know that might sound lame to some people. They're like, what do you mean you don't know how to grocery shop? You live on the road, you only shop for that 24 hours because you want the food to go bad. It's really weird.
Absolutely. Well, let me one more thing for this segment. Let me just have you elaborate on that, because from my understanding, you guys had shown some interest in kind of like cooking and like healthy living, kind of like a branch off from what you do about like recipes and things like that. Is there anything that you can tell us about kind of like a rough idea of what you would like to present as far as like, your lifestyle when it comes to preparing food, eating food and stuff like that?
So one thing, when you're always working, we're 24 hours, 7 days a week. We don't have a day off. I mean, we don't have that luxury, or we don't do this, or we don't really sit down and watch TV. Our brain never stops. So we're constantly working, constantly doing something. So you need that energy. And energy is not just physical. It's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. So we try to eat, foods that nourish those parts of your body. So whether today, he's got 3 gigs in a row. So I did a video. I haven't posted it yet, but I basically make him, coconut water, vinegar, lemon, strawberries, ginger, turmeric, and you know, you blend it all up, and it's almost like a immunity booster, anti-inflammatory, but it gives you that energy. It balances you. So that's just like a simple thing, but with everything, we're trying to put more of our cooking and recipes, things that we would eat on the road or where we get that we could bring on the road, which is very, very, very hard. But when we're at home, just trying to feed everything as natural, organic, healthy as we can, because maybe we got off the road and didn't have all the luxuries because we're in the Midwest or we're in the South or we're in little hotels that you don't have that luxury of finding something that is good for you. So we learned, you know, getting off the road to kind of speed up that healing process. So it's not only just the gym, but it's the foods, the things that you put into your body, and the singing. For example, you'd be really, really surprised how much that takes out of you, and that what you put in your body, what comes out. So we've been trying to do a lot of more health and wellness, and you know, cooking, you know, connector tonics, teas that makes you feel good, so that you can have that not just for singing, but like I said, you know, mental, you know, emotional. Like we've been on the, you know, when everything got shut down, that was like a mental, emotionally, you know, like you had to feed yourself, you had to make yourself feel better, you know, things that help you sleep, calm down, de-stress. So we've been learning different cooking techniques and things that, you know, are good for you, that you could take and have that energy, or take and have that, like, not be sad or depressed or tired, you know, just things that feed you. And I don't know if you want to talk about anything that feed you.
I mean, again,
Those
I
are
mean,
fun things.
we've been on the road, you know, doing these conventions, and a lot of people have asked us, you know, we want to know, what do you eat? Like, what do you do? People have been like, oh, you come early to go to the gym. You know, we get to a hotel like a day early and we go to the gym, but it's not like a vanity thing. You know, it's a health thing. It's a functionality thing. I have background in nutrition, personal training. So, you know, and one of the biggest things, like when I don't actively do that right now, but, you know, in the past, it was always about functionality. And that's what I would say to my clients. You know what I mean? You want to, at some point, not have to worry about, you know, if you're young or healthy, that's great. But, you know, as everybody gets older, you want to be able to not have to worry about walking around the block, you know, standing up out of a chair, just simple things, pushing open a window. You know, these are all things that benefit your body, exercise, eating right. And, you know, again, it's not about vanity. And so many people think that that's the way it is. But, you know, especially for us being on the road, I mean, when you can't get a good night's sleep, or you're in the car for 16 hours a day and you got to go to bed for 4 hours and get up and do it again to get to the next show, or, you know, whatever it is, for me, like, I just want to feel as good as possible. You know, I don't want to be, again, you know, doing back-to-back gigs. I want to sleep. I don't want to be tired. So, you know, what you put in your body, it matters. And just because, you know, a lot of people have even criticized that. And to me, that's like the wildest thing, because it's just a matter of functioning as best as you can. So we just, you know, and a lot of people ask us, what do you eat? What do you do? So we want to put that into, you know, our experiences with our travels and this and that, and share what we do, how we stay healthy. And, like, of course, like, I love wine, you know what I mean? You know, we love to drink. We have our vices. That's totally normal.
We like our pizza and our French toast, so I'll break it down. Like,
You know,
we're
on the
fat,
weekends we
yeah.
probably eat like crap. You know what I mean? But during the week we try and do the best we can.
And we need that.
You know, everybody's different. So go ahead.
Like,
Sorry.
like, you know, if we, like, I'll break it down really quick for you. Like we wake up between 4 and 5 in the morning, and our day, because we have cats that wake us up. Our day it starts off with, emails, going to print, eating, going to the gym, coming back, you know, having lunch, doing reels, promoting, dealing with more emails, sketching, ideas for rock and hard. It's the concept, it's the sketching, it's the design, it's the printing, it's the making of the screens, and we have like other music, it's the writing, it's coming up with the concept, it's going to record, it's then he has his shows that he's doing, and then we have rock and horror shows. So 7 days a week, our day could be recording and printing and doing all this, or printing and then going to a show, or having to be somewhere like at 8 o'clock in the morning and setting up our like booth to vend at a festival. So our life is constantly like all the time. And if we didn't have these healthy things and eat foods and do these things, we couldn't have these ideas, because we'd be so, sometimes you really need to focus on your mental health too. Like that makes me write. Like if I'm tired, I don't want to write. I'm not in the mood. I don't want to sew. You don't want to, go print. You don't want to go record. Like you just kind of want to sit there and sleep. So we don't have time to sleep. So we have to eat. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to go to the gym, and you have to push. And that's what our life is. You just push.
Yeah, I mean,
if that makes any sense.
No, it does. We always have to be on. We always have to be working. We can't get lazy. There's no paycheck that comes in every week. So what we earn is based on how hard we work. So sometimes we just want to feel as best as we can doing it, and that's that. So we want to share that, but we want to share that with everybody in a way that like also is an honest reflection of what we do and how we do it. So there's a ton more of that coming. We've touched on a little bit of it, but and again, just really quick, like a lot of people say, like, oh, I don't have time to do this. Well, that's why I think like one of the videos we did was like a 10-minute thing. We get it at Trader Joe's, which I'm pretty sure is like all across the country, right? Everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like it's just simple things. So if you say, oh, I don't have time, I can't eat healthy, like we want to touch on that. We're not perfect. Nobody is. So
also doing things that
we don't have like a strict diet. There's no strict plan, but we just want to share things that might be helpful. Where
things that help us.
Yeah, things that help us, and then
because when we start getting tired, we realize, what did we just eat? What did we just do? Did we not go to the gym? Like if we skip the gym for a few days, we feel it. If we start eating, I love pizza. I love French fries. I could eat French fries every day. And Mark's always like, okay, like you had French fries 4 days in a week. That's why you're tired, Like I could eat baskets of it, but when I eat that, I'm tired. I'm sluggish. I have a lot of stuff to do. Like we don't have time.
You want to plug the Rock and Horror Lifestyle?
Yeah. If you want to go to our Rock and Horror Lifestyle Instagram, we're starting to post more of that. And the fun part about that is that you could still be healthy, but with a creepy rock and lifestyle. Like we cook things from Jay. You sent us the beautiful Hocus Pocus cookbook. We're taking food out of that, turning it into a little bit more healthy. But me with my Hocus Pocus, like it's still it's still Halloween things. We have our one more second before I stop rambling. We have this vampire soup. It's leek and garlic, and it's made with bone broth. And I will tell you, we ate that every day in lockdown almost. We didn't get sick, knock on wood. We just took care of ourselves, and we were going to the gym, and we were around people. We never got COVID. Never got it. Not saying that the vampire and the vitamins are on stuff, but we ate a lot of garlic. We ate a lot of leeks. We ate a lot of certain anti-inflammatories and things that helped us. So we continue to do that every day. So.
Absolutely. No, 100%. Angel, let's kick it down to you, brother. Do we have anything final from the fans or anything from yourself?
Just a health question, because I have a lot of admiration for what you guys do, because I have Crohn's disease where I get a lot of fatigue. So that's why I was just on every word with you talking about nutrition. So you guys do this without coffee, without all the sugar. Like,
No sugar
how do
or
you
sugar. Go ahead. Sorry.
like? Do you ever get do you ever want to just go on a sugar rush? And I,
We learn.
I guess my question is, how do you slowly weed off of the
Okay.
sugars? Yeah, that's my question.
Basically, we never like with the sugar. When I met him, I would have Starbucks. I'd have the worst Starbucks. You know, you get the venti white chocolate mocha, and it's like, and then you find out like he's telling me, okay, you know what's in this. This is why you're crashing. This is why you're doing this. And now I drink my coffee, which is really crazy. It's instant with the hot water, but we use the Trader Joe's protein powder. It's a chocolate and just a little creamer. And for me, going from that, you know, I felt myself like feel stronger, not as tired. I'm not crashing, but going on what you said, like, how do you wean yourself off of the sugar fruit? Now, this is going to sound crazy. At night, if you're feeling like, I need chocolate, I need ice cream, I need something, get a banana. Cut the banana up, spray your pan, fry those bananas on each side, just they'll caramelize. Put it on a plate, put a little cinnamon. Maybe if you want to have some organic honey, you don't even need the organic honey because the bananas are going to be so sweet because you put them in the pan. Eat that, so good, so amazing, so much better than candy and sugar and ice cream. You know, it's just those little things. Same thing with the watermelon. Take a watermelon, fry it up, take a bite. Oh my god, this is pineapple. So you just learn to like caramelize your fruit. If that makes sense. Even an apple. Take an apple, cut it up, put a little cinnamon, maybe a little honey. Little honey, not a lot. Just a little drizzle just to have it. And that you just pull back and you pull back and you pull back. My thing is I like salty stuff, so chips. I love my salt and vinegar chips. Got an air fryer. I started making my own homemade chips. So, you know, you just kind of pull back, readjust, and that's why the Rock and Horror Life and Style, we're showing recipes that we want to share with you guys that we do at home that helps us have energy, helps us feel better, but still kind of gives you that little yumminess, but still creepy.
Yeah, because that energy part is so important, especially with people that have autoimmune illness. That fatigue is actually a part of it.
No, I mean,
Some
I
of the worst is, but
you know, having that because like we're tired all the time, but that's you know like cause we're constantly like, but trying to find like I'm always finding like scoops and tonics and teas and foods and tinctures that we could drink that give us like. I'll have Mark send you a few things that, and you tell me if it works for you because I would really, really love to know.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I think that's the thing that's also like so important too. I mean, when especially where you know you guys are constantly, you know, or at least up till recently, you guys were constantly on the road, but you have such an active lifestyle. You know, we've been involved in music all of our lives with various things to where you know schedules can be incredibly out of whack, and I think that's where a lot of like the value comes in, where it's just like you know, well, I'm hungry now. Let me just you know grab like a bag of like gummy bears or something like that. Well, you know, if there's other ways to just kind of like, you know, tweak that kind of stuff. Well, it's like whether it be carrots or, you know, kind of like crisped up bananas or things like that. And I think that's where a lot of the value is where, you know, it doesn't have to be a long cooking process or just a quick little sugar bag. There can definitely be like a happy but healthy medium.
Yeah, and that's what.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that the most important thing is longevity. Whatever you can do, just do whatever it may be that you can stick to in the long term. In terms of like the sugar thing, if that's something that you're doing, like you know, just cut it in half. you're not just cut it by 50%, and your body will adjust, and then cut it in half again. And again, like I said, we're not perfect. Like, we don't eat like people probably think we eat a lot better than we do, but not being on the road, we have time to go to the gym more. We have more time to go for a walk down the block. So it's really just making slight improvements as you go, as long as you can stick to it. And it's like going for a walk around the block is better than not going for a walk around the block. So, and then go for a walk around the block twice. Once it has to be gradual, because if you don't do it gradually, you're not going to be able to stick to it.
For sure.
And that's really it. I mean, we could totally go off on a tangent about this, but I don't want to take up of anybody's time. But it's more about longevity and those slight improvements that you can make. In terms of like sugar as energy, sugar's not energy. You know what I mean? Get your protein. Have fruit. No one's getting fat from eating fruit. Obviously, it's on the right way, but whatever you can stick to, have your greens, have your protein, and make slight changes that you're positive you can stick to, because and just be active. You know what I mean? Be as active or as little active as you can, as long as it's an improvement. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, Mark, Lizzy, we can't thank you guys enough for coming on and chatting with us for a little while. And it's always been very important to us that you guys were happy with coming on the show, that you got to talk about what you want to talk about. You appreciated and liked the questions that you were given, and that the bottom line is that you felt that your time on the show was respected.
Absolutely, man.
100%. We give you 5 stars.
Awesome. Well, one more thing. Please let everybody know, for the fans that are looking for you, where Ghost in Your Heart can be found.
So Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I think on YouTube it's all up there for free. If you don't have like an Apple or Spotify subscription, I don't know, everywhere. Google Play, whatever it is. I think it's on Amazon. What's our email? Well, just find us on Instagram. Ghost in Your Heart band. Yeah. We'll be posting a lot more updates as we go through everything. Like I said, new song. We're probably about 75% done with it. And we'll be sharing a lot more. We'll be doing more merch. Obviously, the video, the new song, the album. But
Jay's wearing our shirt.
Yeah, Jay's rocking the shirt. So yeah, I mean, pretty much all like streaming platforms, and we'll definitely keep everybody posted as the new stuff. They're selling.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, Mark, Lizzy, again, thank you guys so very much. Fans, Metal Summoners, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching as always. We appreciate all the love and support. This show is for you. Music is back out live, so make sure that you're getting out and supporting everybody that you can. Check all of the Metal Summit hosts out on their various socials, whether it be Facebook and Instagram and everything like that. Again, we want to remind you guys that at the end of July, we've got BLE's Masquerade, and at the end of June, we've got Psycho Steve's birthday bash with Blues Vultures, Bob D from Petro, and Jack Frost, amongst others. So make sure that you're following all of those pages and show out to those events. So again, thank you guys all so much. We appreciate you guys so very much. On behalf of the Metal Summit, for Angel Alamo, for Bobby Dreyer, for Psycho Steve, and for myself, again, we want to thank Ghost in Your Heart, Lizzy Borden, and Mark Hall for joining us this evening. Metal Summoners, see you guys next week. Guest announcement on Friday, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Take care, love each other, and as always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.
Take it easy, guys. Rock and roll.